Hi, so this is a Hyperopia Strabismus update. It looks like I found out why I have such an issue reading, and that is really positive news because it looks as if I can actually do something about it. So I've been looking into eye tracking when reading, and I've come up with stuff in relation to the dominant eye. So your dominant eye is the one that you look through most of the time, basically. So normally, if you're right-handed, it'll be your right eye. And the way you can find out, one way of finding out which your dominant eye is, if you hold your finger up, close one eye, then another, the finger will appear to move not so much with the dominant eye. There is another way you can make a triangle and look into the distance, and if the scenery moves within the triangle, that's your non-dominant eye. It tends to stay more the same with the dominant eye. So for most people, your dominant eye is the same eye as your hand is. My right eye is the dominant eye. I'm right-handed. So you'd think, so far so good. Now, when you read, certainly with the Latin alphabet, that's our ABC alphabet, we read from left to right. So you normally lead when tracking along the page with the right eye. In other cultures like Chinese writing, it's top to bottom. I think Arabic, that would be interesting because I believe that is right to left. So those people would be using their non-dominant eye to track along the page. But yeah, I haven't looked into that too much, but certainly with the Latin alphabet, left to right reading, you lead with your right eye, except I don't. I lead with my left eye. And now I can see why it's awkward, why it's just plain difficult. I get sore eyes, I have a funny posture, yada yada. So okay, if I'm right-handed, my dominant eye is my right eye. Why might that possibly be? Because on the face of it, that wouldn't make sense. Now, I think it's because I'm a bit long-sighted, or maybe a bit more than a bit long-sighted. I don't know how much, to be honest, but I do know I am long-sighted. That has actually been diagnosed. So in an examination, a method of finding out which your dominant eye is to put a plus lens in front of it. And in the dominant eye, it may or may not change depending how much plus power is on it. With the non-dominant eye, it will actually go blurry or go more blurry. So again, that adds up for me, because if something is put in front of my left eye, a plus, in the first instance it will actually go a bit blurry, but then as the eye relaxes, this one is actually more long-sighted than my manifestly long-sighted right eye. So I'm thinking that if the left eye goes blurry, if the non-dominant eye goes blurry when the lens is put in front of it, I think that may mean that that is the better eye at accommodating. So me being long-sighted, and I think, to be honest, because I learned to read really, really young, like I began to read when I was 3, because I remember actually doing that. I mean, it'd be little words here and there, but my point is, I was reading at an age where my eyes were that flexible, that I was able to overcome, you know, all the accommodation needed with that, with long-sightedness. So, you know, by the time I was doing serious reading, because I know I had quite a bad posture, like I'd be like that to read or to write. So it looks like I started using this eye as my main focus early, because that was the eye that was able to accommodate. And of course I got to an age where, you know, long-sightedness, it develops as you get older, and I got to a point where it was uncomfortable, and I was no longer tolerating it. And very definitely, now this was a little experiment I did in the early days when I started having problems, so like years and years back. So I was like covering one eye and reading and, you know, trying to work out what was going on. And what I noticed then, for sure, was that what I was seeing out of my right eye, it was more comfortable, for certain, but it was just blah, blah, blah. It was meaningless words on the page. Whereas my left eye was the one that was decoding and understanding and tracking the words. I don't know how efficiently, you know, it was doing it, because obviously, you know, I had eye strain and no glasses at that time. But certainly that was the case. And I just did a recent test with the Snellen that's on the fridge door, and I covered each eye, read down, you know, top to bottom. So just one letter, not along the line, just the first letter of each line. That was the same with both eyes. That was absolutely fine. When I tried reading along the line, my left eye, that was fine. I could, you know, read and decode the letters. Everything was working together. With my right eye, no, that wasn't so easy. Like, you know, the first letter would be fine, but once I was getting towards the end of the line, you know, I was having to kind of look at the letter twice and try and decode it and all that. So that kind of bears that one out. And there is also the business of crossing the midline. So this is the midline, and you know, if you're holding a book here, you're going to be crossing the midline. So it's kind of easier if you're working in this direction, for this eye to be pulling everything than this eye to be pushing everything. So along with that, what was happening was this bad posture. You know, every time I was reading or writing, there'd be that. Now, if you view things with a bad posture, or with an asymmetrical posture, so people who, you know, lie on their side to watch the telly, it's not recommended, because obviously your eyes are kind of turning whichever way to do that, in an uneven gaze for you know, a period. Then you get muscle imbalances, then you get astigmatisms. That has happened with me. So, you know, that kind of all bears out. So the other thing, you know, I do have a head tilt. When I look at things, I have a tendency to turn my head one way or the other. So, you know, making sure I practice looking at things head on, that's important. But I also looked to see if there was any remedies for this. And one exercise I've seen recommended, which I quite like the look of, it involves rotating your finger around. Now you have to look at your finger, really, really look at your finger as it's going round. Now the example I've seen is with, I'm covering my eye, but in the example I've seen, it's using both eyes. You can rotate the finger around the other way, and you just do about 20 rotations, but you do it like every hour on the hour. So, you know, you just do a few seconds of this every hour, and that is supposed to help quite quickly. And I can see the benefits of doing that. Now, I do it with my eye covered. This is because I'm trying to get my right eye doing what it should be doing. So I want my right eye to be taking the lead and the left eye to be following, because I'm in a situation where, you know, my eyes are in a bit of a fight with each other. So I'm giving that a try. I have noticed immediate benefits straight after doing the exercise. I will say that. Now, I'm not really going to know, you know, straight away. You have to try these things out and give them some time. The other thing I'm also doing at the same time is covering my left eye and just reading some text, again keeping my head still. I mean, just headlines from a newspaper, and reading out loud as well. So it's you know, decoding the words, sounding out the words, so getting the brain and the eye and the mouth all working together. And again, you know, I just do that for a few seconds. It won't be long, but every hour on the hour. So I am expecting to see some improvements from that. So yeah, I'll definitely get back about how this worked out. So that is basically my update. This is like quite new and exciting, and I'm like, oh, if only I'd known about that, you know, before. But there we are. I know about it now. I can do it now. So yeah, I'll probably get another video in tomorrow perhaps, but if I don't, I'd like to wish everyone a happy new year, and also stay safe. I know we've had like corona for about, you know, a year now. Maybe people are getting fed up with it, getting bored with it, but it is really important that we carry on with the social distancing. We wear our masks when we're supposed to. You know, we need to keep ourselves safe. So happy new year and stay safe everyone.